jousting fight last night. This is a very, very nice man, and I was scared to death. So I should have been. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give him Mr. Pralgo one more time.
Morning, everybody. This is a big crowd. I'm overwhelmed. Hey! Back there. All right, so what would you like to talk about today? I'll talk about anything. If I don't know the answer, I'll lie and make something up. What would you like to talk about? Blood ties. Blood ties. I won't touch too much of that. Movie I produced and we shot in Thailand and up and down the East Coast on a shoestring budget. I get my butt kicked from beginning to end. Two brothers, I get kidnapped, and the other brother is a badass. And it's an excuse for telling the Pralgo world champion martial artist to save my life. And so that's just got released on DVD. So check that out if you want to see me bleed some more, which is what I do. So it's called Blood Ties, and there's nothing to do with vampires. But the title does hint at a lot of blood, which I do give up readily. So that's out there, and this is great. Wow, thanks for having this in my... I live here in Atlanta. I live in Alpharetta, so this was a nice quick drive for me. So I didn't have to fly. I'm up in Alpharetta. So very convenient, and I thank them for having me. This is much fun. For those who were there last night, we had a great time. Jousting and working up a sweat. A lot of hugging going on, a lot of groping, a lot of feeling. My apologies. I said I can't control me sometimes. Yeah, so Vampire Diaries. I feel like I'm holding down the fort for the big boys who are floating around over here shortly, I think, which is good. Those will be some long lines, I'm guessing. I think I did 8 episodes of the show, and apparently I wasn't very nice. And again, you know, I really was the only disciplinarian on the show. I mean, that's a town of kids just running amok, and somebody had to lay down some discipline. You really fault me for that? I mean, one hit across the face. One. Everybody's up in arms, and what do you get for one hit across the face? You get a broken neck and set on fire. I think that's a little excessive for one back. But obviously, better ways than others. Anyway, it was great. It was a pleasure being on that show. It's successful for many reasons. Great writing, great producing, phenomenal directing, and young actors who work as hard as anybody I've ever seen. I've been doing this for 25 years, and to watch the way they go about preparing for their roles, there is no screwing around. These are true, unadulterated professionals who work with their acting coaches, who study script, who analyze script, and there's a reason that they're successful. And it's because, you know, they're some of the best, you know, in their category right now. And I'm on the show, I watch the show, and it's great. And it's a pleasure to see. I've run into so many people who you wouldn't think would be in that demographic. Who, strangely enough, I ran into a couple people at DragonCon last year. DragonCon! And we were talking about the show, and we were talking about the demographic, and you know what we think it is. And a couple guys who just got back from the Middle East who said when they were on break in the Middle East, their troops got together and watched Vampire Diaries. And these were some of the toughest guys you ever saw who, you know, just loved the show. So that was kind of, obviously that's really inspiring to hear that, so this is great. And is that a hand back there? Do you have a question? Sure.
I was wondering, hey, I'm Melissa, I just love you, your practice.
Hey, what's up?
I was wondering, are you coming back to the show? Because we miss you really bad.
Well, that would be wonderful, but I wouldn't plan on it. It was a pretty distinctive death. Apparently I didn't kill anybody, so that'll prevent me from coming back. But, you know, once again, it was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't bank on it. It's a show for the, you know, we know what that show's about. And, you know, as a supporting actor, we know our job, and that's to support the leads, and I think I did my job, and I gave them a purpose, and, you know, I was really proud of that. I was thrilled to be a part of it. And, thank you. You know, work breeds work, and it's got me some other work, too, so I was, once again, there was no worries there. I was just thrilled to be a part of it. Once again, when I got the job, I wasn't really familiar with the Vampire Diaries story. I knew it existed, but I just assumed it was a one-episode shot, just like a lot of the work we get down here. My first day on set, I met Michael Trevino. He said, "Oh my God, you're my dad. It does. There's a storyline in the first season." I was like, "Holy crap!" You just assumed I'd be back for 2 episodes. Then 2 turned to 3, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. So, when I heard about my demise, I was like, yeah, I was totally expecting at some point. So they gave me so much to do in that last episode. I was honored. It was such a big episode. It was just. I know it wasn't because they hated me. It was, they gave me work to do, and I served the purpose. And that's, all acting jobs come to an end. Well, most. There's some soap opera guys who've been doing it for 50 years, I guess. But yeah, so we expect that, which is great. And that's what's so fun about this industry is there's always another challenge to tackle, another job to try to get, another audition. We get to try something out, which is great. So it was just an honor to be honored. Yeah.
We have a question back here.
Cool. Hey.
Hi, I'm Melody, and oh my gosh, you are awesome. Working with the Vampire Diaries cast, did you have any good experiences or funny pranks that were pulled with the cast against you or something?
Well, they were all good experiences, and I wasn't there that much. Like I said, I've shot 8 episodes. I was probably there 16, 20 days at the most. So, and it's really all business. I wasn't there a lot off screen. I had heard through the grapevine there were a couple of clowns on the set who were pranksters. You always hear that Matt Davis is kind of off, and and he's always pulling pranks. He's a very strange guy, but I didn't see too many pranks. I mean, they work really hard. It's not that they crack the whip, but it's a serious business and a serious show. And like I said, there's a reason it's successful. They work hard and they crank it out. Now I'm sure they've lost their steam off set. Steve McQueen's a funny guy, and Mike's a funny guy, and I'm sure they're having a good time off set. But I wasn't really there for any of the pranks, per se. But if I think of any, I will, or if I can make one up, maybe I will. Any other questions?
We have a question up front.
Hey.
Hi Rob, how are you? I'm a big fan after last night. You got an additional fan. I'll watch anything you're in.
Thank you. Awesome.
Live on YouTube right now for TV fans online. So
hey, good to see you. Hey,
question, what would be your most favorable, memorable moment or line from you being on the Vampire Diaries? That's a line maybe that was your favorite that you had?
My favorite scene was actually the scene I did with Matt Davis in the parking lot when I tried to get Tyler to fight Steve McQueen. That was fun. What did he call me, an alpha male douchebag? I put that on my demo reel. You gotta have it on your demo reel. It says Rob Pralgo, he goes, an alpha male douchebag. There was actually a line that was cut that I really liked, but it was a little heavy. I think it was a little too obvious in the season finale when I'm talking to David about the box that he's getting ready to set off to render all the vampires useless. He's telling me there's a high-pitched sound that's going to come out, and a line I had was, you mean like for dogs? And he looked at me like I was an idiot. It was good. But I think what happened was in post, they realized that would have given the secret away at that point because nobody knew. So they probably cut it to keep it until I fell down and there was blood coming out of my ears that they knew there was something special going on. It may have been a little too much like, oh, he's a werewolf. Yeah. So that was a fun line to deliver. We had fun doing it. I just, storytelling wise, it probably didn't make sense to give it away that early in the show. But I'd love to see a copy like that. We'll put that on the extras or something. But that was a couple of my favorite moments. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Yeah. And just being on set. I mean, as an actor, we love to work. So the fact that we're on set is just a bad day on set beats a good day behind the desk. That's my mom, and it's just one of those things. We're very lucky and very fortunate, to get these opportunities to do what we do. And, if there are any aspiring actors out there, or just working actors, it truly is persistence and working hard, and do not stop studying because it is. I don't want to sound pretentious to say it's an art form, but writers write, painters paint, singers sing, actors need to act, and if you're not working, you need to be in class, you need to be study groups, you need to actually work at it. So if you stop doing it, you can get stale. So if you're out there and you're in this biz, keep working that muscle. It's important. Question?
Hi, I'm Nicole. I just want to say you're amazing and I love you.
Oh, thank you.
Throughout being an actor, what's your favorite place you filmed at?
Where filmed at? For years I've been working on low budget movies. No budget, low budget, with friends and peers and stuff. So I have filmed in every backwood, nasty, dirty It's amazing how good disasters look on film and old warehouses. So we're constantly filming in just the muck and mire because it just adds production value. But that's the opposite. I've gotten to work in Thailand, which was amazing. Shot up and down the East Coast. It's funny when you're shooting, when you're acting. It's wherever you are. It's such a great place to be because you're acting and you're working. It's a pleasure. Regardless of it's too hot or too cold. I mean, it's so many worse places to be than just making believe and acting. But Thailand was awesome. The people were amazing. We actually we flew over there with cameras without any permits, and so we were kind of there illegally, guerrilla filmmaking. So it was a couple months of just running from the police and trying not to get arrested. I'm pretty lucky I'm here right now, actually. Thank you. And we actually shot blood ties over there with the idea. We thought Thailand would add production value. We just hopped on a plane, the two of us, and with a couple of high-def cameras, and got off the plane and just started shooting. And somehow we survived. Crazy. It's wonderful stories. And my third day there, I got food poisoning. When I got to Thailand, I was 189 pounds. When I left Thailand 3 weeks later, I was 171 pounds. That was a hell of a night. Boy. And as bad as that sounds, it was a blast. We're just running and gunning and shooting. I'd love to go back as a tourist because we were constantly under the fear of arrest. The stress of that. But and as bad as that sounds, that was awesome. You asked me one of my favorite places. That was just amazing to be over there doing that. We shot in the mountains of Virginia, which was fun. Wherever we're shooting, we just love to shoot. I got no complaints. My worst experience was in a creek in Tallahassee on a student film, and I relish this moment because whenever I think things are bad, I go, oh, thank God I'm not in that freaking creek in Tallahassee, and everything is fine. It's like my world is good. That's my relative moment. So no matter what's happening to me, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm whining, we all get that way. I go, oh, Tallahassee. Good. So everything compared to Tallahassee, that freaking creek was amazing. Yeah, it's wonderful. What else we got?
We have a question right here.
Hey.
Why did Mayor Lockwood's name go from Charles to Richard?
Yeah, it's funny. We weren't sure if anybody was going to catch that. And we've never spoken to Susan Walters, who plays my wife, my widow. We were sitting talking before the scene. She goes, "Why, I never called you by your first name. You have a first name." I said, "Yeah, I guess so." So we asked I don't remember who we asked. They said, "I don't know." And so she just decided to call me Charles. So in the scene at the lunch, I think the first thing we did, she goes, "Charles." I went, nobody said a word to us, blah, blah, blah. So we just assumed. And then it was quite a few episodes later when the script was out, it says, Richard Lockwood. And we're like, they gave me a name. So I remember we went over to the producer, we're like, I think she called me Charles in the episode. Well, I'm pretty sure she did call me Charles. And I don't remember who we were talking to at this point. It was like a little bit of a panic, like, oh God, we just screwed the show. And it could be Richard Charles Lockwood, she could call me by my middle name, can justify it there, but we weren't sure if anybody would pick up on that. And because she said so, she goes, "Oh, Charles." I think that's the only time she said. And yeah, it's funny, but I think they thought of me more as a dick, so they called me Richard. Yeah. That show came up a lot. Oh yeah. Dick Lockwood. Yeah. They were pounding that in. Every time I try to be nice, they go, "What's your name?" That's right. Live up to your name. Be a jerk. Yeah, but nobody ever. They just kind of brush it off. It could be Richard Charles Lockwood. It sounds kind of regal, pretentious, kind of a jerk. Dick Chuck Lockwood.
Just want to let you know, last night you were adorable and hilarious, and we didn't get our poster, but that's okay.
I got more coming. I know this one is done, but I got
My question is on the last episode of the first season. Did you know the device was going to harm you in any way?
Well, yeah, when I was called, they actually called me and told me that. That's bad news, Rob. But yeah, I knew it was a great script. I knew though, but once again, like I said before, I knew all acting jobs come to an end. So I knew at some point, everybody's going to die in that show. what we're there for.